In the POW camp, there were three categories. Those communist soldiers who really caught by US soldier or South Korean soldier. And those who were conscripted in the South, because when South was occupied by North Korean army, many people were conscripted to go into the communist army. And those who were not the soldier, civilian. In Korean War, many POWs surrendered. They were not against the Americans. They were more against the North Korea government. But the Americans, they don't know this delicate psychology. No? For Americans, all North Korean youth were enemy soldiers. So when they meet these people surrendering, all put into the POW camp. We were brought into Pusan, southern part. So many people. We were living in a tent. Each tent there were 50 people. Food was just a bowl of rice and a soup. I felt that I cannot survive this. And I kept myself in the hospital camp. Then I became aid boy. 3 years I worked there. Diarrhea was devastating people. One morning in my tent, I found 12 dead. In the camp life, the ideological difference was a big question. At first, communist and anti-communist all mixed together. And then they started to fight each other. Then Americans decided to separate those who wanted to go back north, those who refused to repatriation. Then two camps.
The question of repatriation of prisoners of war finally became the greatest obstacle to a truce.
At the first, when started the armistice meeting conference, only two options: to go back to north, to stay in the south.
The Red negotiators insisted that any truce require all captives to be returned to their own countries. The United Nations held that no prisoner should be repatriated against his will.
Then at that time, there was a rumor that they are going to give a third choice options to go a neutral country.
At Panmunjom on July 27, 1953, in this conference hall, the fighting was brought to an end. All prisoners desiring repatriation were to be sent home within 60 days. The others were to be placed into the custody of a neutral nations repatriation commission, made up of officers from India, Sweden, Switzerland, Poland, and Czechoslovakia.
I decided no, North Korea, I cannot go back. We opted for a neutral country. For myself, I thought to live in South, being so close to the North, it will be more unhappy. I have to make choice to go far away from this country. When we embarked on a ship to India, ship was very big one, 5,000 Indians, can you imagine? This photo is taken on the board. This is myself. This is Indian captain. When she was starting to navigate. All people went to the campan and watching the Korea was disappearing. Because I left my home. I cannot see my parents and brothers for 50 years. All this experience of life has deepened the anxiety about life. What means to live in this world without the root. Only thing I hope is to return to my home. But that is almost impossible.